This is The Metro on WDET-FM. I'm Tia Graham. It's National Library Week, which was started in 1958 to encourage library use when TV and radio were taking people's attention. Almost 70 years later, the amount of time we spend reading pales in comparison to what we watch. Americans spend about 15 minutes reading a day, but 2.5 hours a day watching some sort of device. I am unfortunately ashamed of myself, but there's a different story being written. Since hitting pandemic-era lows, library participation is surging. Visits have doubled since 2021. People are coming back to libraries, and they're getting more than books out of the experience. That's something to celebrate, and I'm joined by two people who are experiencing that increased participation in libraries firsthand. Jeff Milo is the head of marketing and communications at Ferndale Library and the host of a podcast, A Little Too Quiet. He's also the host of My Local on WDET Tuesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. And Lisa Pierce is the author of the book Motor City Love Song, a romance novel set in a fictional version of Detroit's garage rock scene of the early 2000s. Jeff and Lisa, welcome to the Metro.
Tia, so good to see you.
It's great to see you too, Jeff.
Yeah, and it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
You know, we were just talking about how library love and love from library staff is really supporting indie authors like Lisa these days.
It's a fact.
It's really good to see.
It's a fact, and I love to see the libraries accepting
and it's mutual
authors.
because Lisa loves libraries too.
Absolutely. So much of my writing career was centered in my local library, being able to write there, do research, have events there. And, you know, even an event led to me meeting my agent, which made this book possible. So you guys are rock stars.
Tia.
No, but just showing up and being ready. You were there, you were prepared, and there it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I love that.
I love that was the space for it. So,
and I love that's your story too as an author. Like, I got picked up in the library.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's right.
Jeff, we know that libraries have books.
Oh yeah.
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, and we also talk about ebooks and things like that. But I want to start by talking a little bit about the things you can check out that are not books. Earlier in the show, we were talking about seeds that play a crucial role in preserving ancestral and cultural history.
Right.
Does the Ferndale Library have a seed library?
The Ferndale Library and several libraries in your area have a seed library.
Wow.
And for our library, and this might be true elsewhere, you actually don't even really need a library card to do that. You can come right up and you'll see them stored in something that you might remember from the 90s, a card catalog.
Oh.
That we've repurposed. It's full of seed packets, and you can get flowers, herbs, vegetables. You just sign them out. And it's the honor system. If you're a passionate gardener and you grow your vegetables, you can harvest some of the seeds at the end in September and October. If you want to bring them back to us, that's great. You don't have to, but you can get them free. You can get out there and get your green thumb going. So much more than books. Like, don't even get me going, Tia. But
Power tools.
Yeah, power tools.
Tools.
Power tools. If you are, you know, hanging art and you need that stud finder, but you don't want to pay $12 at the store for one day, you can take it home. You can check out instruments if you want to learn how to use a drum machine or a keyboard or a ukulele. You can check out a sewing machine if you need it. A Cricut, which is really like a keyword for crafters out there. It's some device that they really love. We have it. Yeah. Video games. We've got all the new video games. You don't have. Well, the libraries where you save a lot of money. Let me just say that.
Amen.
And you're saying that you felt ashamed. You don't. Yeah, everyone has their library epiphany eventually.
Yes.
Where they meet someone like me, or they walk in and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff I can get for free." Yep.
Yes, that is the goal. I want to get away from these screens altogether. Possibly pick up power tools. Yeah. I do need some tools actually, so the library is my next stop.
We've got a tile cutter. Are you putting stuff down in your basement? Take a tile cutter home. Yeah.
I don't think I'm doing anything that intense.
But in case.
But yeah, I'm just looking for looking for a rug cleaner.
Yeah.
And I know the library has one, so I'll be there. But Jeff, one thing that we've been talking about a lot lately, thanks to Record Store Day, is the revival of physical media like CDs, records, DVDs.
Oh, yeah.
People don't realize it, but their local library has a huge array of those things as well. You talked about the video games. How much do people take advantage of that resource?
Oh, absolutely. Because we're not just talking, we're talking about Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox. We have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of games for all of those platforms. And just in time for Record Store Day, we unveiled our first ever vinyl collection, which because I work there, there's a lot of local records. So
Yeah, shout out to Jeff
check out that
Milo.
vinyl.
Thank you.
And yeah, with people kind of cutting their cords and saying, we don't want to do the streaming anymore, they are realizing, oh, wait, I can just get DVDs and Blu-rays. For the people out there who are like, oh, wait, it's been so long since I had DVDs and Blu-rays, I don't have a DVD and Blu-ray player anymore, you can check out a DVD and Blu-ray or player from the library and borrow it for a while. So,
I'm in awe.
yeah,
I'm in awe.
And no, honestly, because I was just going to say, Jeff, I don't own a DVD
we
player.
got you. That's like the library motto.
All right, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. You need to use the library.
And so, yes, the library circulates a lot. This is a week to celebrate libraries. We also host a ton of events. We host concerts, we host art exhibitions, book clubs. Something else we host a lot of is author talks. We have book signings.
I love that.
And that's something that indie authors like Lisa, they that support you. My goodness, like it's a good opportunity.
Yes. I mean, that's an absolutely wonderful way to meet people, because you're right at the source of folks who are just eager to talk about stories and to be, maybe they've never talked to an author before too, and learn about what the process is of getting something written, getting something published. So it's always a joy for me to attend these because I just love talking with people and finding out what brought them there.
Yeah.
And then it gives me a chance to point them towards a way to share the story that I wrote.
Yeah.
Lisa, talk about just that community that you've been able to, join, embrace, be a part of, influence, include, that you've been able to join from the library.
It goes in many different ways. The thing that I've appreciated is so many libraries here, within the Metro Detroit area are sponsoring local author events now. So they are trying to give people a chance to meet with the public. Many people are not traditionally published. They're self-published or they're just starting to their writing careers. And so that gives them a chance to really put themselves out there, which I think is wonderful. It also gives a wide range of books for them to choose from. So, many people go to the library with their children. There's so much to be gained from the local author events then, because many people are focusing on that. But then it's like people like me who have a romance story that's a bit different, that maybe connects with people that they never expected. And they may be able to pick up their own copy there, or take the copy out of the library, or listen to it as an audiobook, or get the ebook, because those are also available through the library resources, which is fantastic. It just broadens the scope. And then beyond this area, things like my first book, Love at 350 Degrees, got picked as a notable romance by the New York Public Library, which was like me winning an Oscar. It was like, oh my God, the Lions know who I am.
That's right.
So it was, I can't stress enough how honored I am to be represented in so many libraries across the country, but then also to see how vital that connection is with the communities that I may not visit personally.
Yeah. And so I got to say, coming up on May 28th, Lisa will be at the Ferndale Library in person because we host on events. We're going to be very excited to have Lisa there talking about her book, Motor City Love Song.
Motor City Love Song. Now, Lisa, you're the author of Motor City Love Song. People can join you May 28th at the Ferndale Library. But just briefly, why did you choose Detroit and the music scene as a setting for a romance novel?
How long do we have? Well, I moved to the area almost exactly 20 years ago. And one of the ways that I got to know the city was because my daughters were wanting to start to see concerts. And so I had to map our way around to get to the Majestic and out to St. Andrews and all this kind of stuff. And so we got to know the city through the concerts that we went to. Wow. And we quickly realized that not only is it that any indie band worth its salt has to play Detroit. So they're going to be here somewhere. Thanks. But the other thing is then there are so many bands that set that stage, continue to perform, and had such a role. I came in knowing who the White Stripes were, but then, oh my goodness, all these other bands, why didn't more people know about them? So part of it was just I loved the music and I loved learning more about how that music came together. And the other real source I had was my partner's cousin was a music booker at the Cross Street Station bar in Ypsilanti. And so he knew the musicians, he knew the venue owner, he he was able to give me clips and video cuts and stuff. And I'm just like, this is phenomenal. All that said, too, I think everybody has their own personal love story with music. They're songs that represent times in their lives, people they knew, moments in their romantic life. And the people who make that music, there's kind of a romantic connection to it as well. So I just felt it was sort of natural. Let's bring that together. There's such a community feel to the indie scene around the late 90s, early 2000s. And there had to be, romances and love stories within that group. Why don't I get a chance to pretend, all right, if what would that look like against that soundtrack?
Yeah.
I love that. And Lisa, like you said, I wish we had another 30 minutes to talk about it, because I would really love to dive into that. But, we're down to the wire here. But before we get to the last question with you, Jeff, because we're going to end off with you, Jeff,
sure.
Lisa, what makes a good pairing in a romance novel?
I think a lot of people love tropes. They love, enemies to friends, or, two people, one bed. I still love that that's a thing. But anyway, I think for me, it's that there are two people who ultimately want the same thing, but maybe are trying to get to it in two different ways, and they've got to find their way together. And so ultimately, it's grounded in these are real people. These are people who really desperately do want to find someone to share their lives with, regardless of their life and baggage ahead of time. And it's worthwhile to find where those two personalities mesh.
30 seconds, if you can. It's a sapphic novel as well. So, explain to me why you decided that would be also great in the late 90s, early 2000s music indie scene here in Detroit.
I think because, first off, my life, I've been with my partner for 36 years. Secondly, there certainly have been queer people as part of any music scene for all time, whether or not that was the sort of leading element of how they self-identified. But then it's also just, let's look at things from different perspectives. I think that people are aching for stories that give them something new to consider, yet fall into a category that they already love. So I'm just sort of broadening the palette of colors that we can read with, let's say.
That's beautiful.
No wonder you're an author, Lisa.
Yeah.
No wonder you're an author. Just, my gosh, poetic. So the last 30 seconds or so, Jeff, what's your best case for people to use the library?
My best case to use the library is to realize that it is possibly the most magnificent public utility you could possibly imagine. It is there for you and the entire community to use. But unlike other utilities like water, gas, electric, when you use more of those things in the summertime or the wintertime, or you're watering your lawn, your bill will go up. But if you go in and check out 50 books from the library today and go check out 49 more tomorrow, you do not pay more. It's just, you're the resident, you're the card, you take those books home for free. Keep using it as much as you want to enrich your life.
As you just heard Jeff Milo, enrich your life, especially this week. It is National Library Appreciation Week, I believe it is. So definitely go to your local library. Jeff Milo is the head of marketing and communications at Ferndale Public Library, and he hosts the library's podcast, A Little Too Quiet. He is also the host of My Local here on WDET every Tuesday from 9 to 10 p.m. And Lisa Pierce is the author of the book Motor City Love Song. You can hear more about the novel when she does a Q&A at the Ferndale Public Library on May 28th. What time?
That'll be at the evening, around 6 o'clock. Yeah.
6 p.m., so definitely come by May 28th. Lisa and Jeff, thank you so much for joining us on the Metro.
Yeah,
It's so fun. Thank you
saving
so
you
much.
bucks by getting you books. And so much more, Tia, and so much more.
This is WDET-FM, Detroit Public Radio, your connection to news, music, and conversation. You all have a great day.